Hello students, this is Vijaya Janardhan Ushir, working as assistant professor in Department of Chemistry at Maratha Vidyaprasarak Samaj, GMD College, Sinnar, Nasik. So, in the last video lecture, we have studied the syllabus of your physical chemistry course and also what are the different references you have to use for the physical chemistry course. So, in this video lecture, we will study our first topic of the physical chemistry course, that is the thermodynamics, and it is of the section first. So what is the thermodynamics? So thermodynamics is the study of energy transformations and its relation to the matter. So this is one of the basic point. What is the thermodynamics? After the BSc level you have studied that thermodynamics. So what is this thermodynamics? So thermodynamics, this word only says its meaning, that thermo means heat and dynamics means changes. So what are the different heat changes in the system that we will study in the thermodynamics? So the analysis of thermal systems is achieved through the application of governing conservation equations, namely conservation of mass, conservation of energy, and this conservation of energy that we have studied for the first law of thermodynamics. So you may have studied the first law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, and up to the third law, means you have studied this first, second, and third law of thermodynamics at the TYBSc, up to the TYBSc level. So, and the property relation. So, what is the thermodynamics? It is the study of energy. The energy is the energy. So, we have studied here that thermodynamics means the thermo means heat and dynamics means change. So, heat change, and heat is one of the form of the energy. Therefore, the study of energy and thermodynamics means heat change. So what is the energy transformation? Heat changes, that is the heat energy gets converted into another form, that energy transformation and its relation to the matter. So what the matter we are studying and what is the relation of these heat changes to the matter, that all the things we will study in the first chapter, that is the thermodynamics. So consider this is a system in the circular form. This is a system, and outside the system this all is the surrounding. So this is the system, this is surrounding, and this line, circular line, indicates that this is the boundary of system. So this is the boundary between system and surrounding. That's it. So what is the boundary? Boundary is the part which separates system from the surrounding, means boundary separates the system from the surrounding, and all these system, surrounding, boundary are enclosed in a very large sphere which is called as a universe. Means in the universe it's contain the system and surrounding, and which are separated by a some boundary, and that boundary is denoted by this. So what are the different types of system? So we mainly in the thermodynamics we mainly focus on the system. So you have studied the different types of system. So first one is the isolated system, second one is the closed system, third one is the open system. So this red symbol indicates that exchange of energy, and this blue symbol indicates that exchange of matter. So for the isolated system, we can say that there is no exchange of matter also and energy also from system to the surrounding. So this is an isolated system. So in the isolated system, we can say that the isolated system can't exchange the matter also and energy also, so that it is called as a isolated system. In the closed system, what happens? So this red symbol, that is the exchange of energy, means closed system can exchange the energy. This reversible arrow indicates that this closed system exchanges the energy and with the system and surrounding, but not the matter. Means matter cannot be exchanged from the closed system to the surrounding. And what is the open system? It is open, means name suggests that it's open for the exchange of energy also, and also the exchange of matter. Means open system can exchange the energy and matter both. So these are the different types of system, that is isolated system which can't exchange energy and matter. And second is the closed system which exchanges only the energy and not the matter. And third system, that is the open system which exchange the matter also and energy also. Means the isolated system and open system are totally opposite to each other. So these are the different types of system. So next point is the thermodynamic property. So what are the thermodynamic property? So any observable or measurable characteristics of a system. So thermodynamic property is the any observable. So whatever property we will observe or whatever the property we will measure, that is the characteristics of a system. And any mathematical combination of the measurable characteristics of a system is also called as a thermodynamic property. Means any mathematical combination for measurable characteristics of a system. So you may have studied the thermodynamic properties, that is intensive properties. So what is intensive? So the properties which are independent of size or mass of the system. So intensive, so you may remember this intensive properties may like that. Intensive means independent, means intensive means independent of the size or mass of the system. These properties are called as intensive properties. They are not additive, means the if there are two intensive properties xa plus xb, then we can add this property like that xa plus xb, means these are not additive. And the examples include the pressure, temperature and density. You have to remember this example. These properties such as pressure, which is independent of the mass of the system. Temperature, it is also dependent on independent of size or mass of the system. Density, it is also independent of size or mass of the system. So these are all called as intensive properties. Next is the extensive properties. So what are the extensive properties? So the properties which are dependent on the size or mass of the system. These are called as extensive properties and they are additive. So intensive properties are not additive, but the extensive properties are additive. That is xa plus b, we can write xa plus xb, means these two properties are additive, but the intensive properties are not additive. So what are the different examples of extensive properties? Volume, energy, entropy and surface area. So these are the different examples of extensive properties. So these are intensive properties and these are extensive properties. So next point is its state function and path function. So what is the state function? So name itself indicates that state function means the function which depends on the state of the system, that is which are the different states of the system. So initial state and final state, that function is known as a state function. So the property of thermodynamic system which has a definite value for the particular state of a system. So what is a state function? Means it is the property of thermodynamic system which has a definite value for a particular state. Means you have to remember that the state function is the property that which has a definite value for the particular system and it is independent of manner in which the state is reached. So it is independent of manner, means in which way the state is reached. So state function depends on only initial state and final state, and we will study that only how this initial state get converted into final state. So by which way this initial state is get converted into final state, that is independent of the manner in which state is reached, and it depends only on initial and final state, means it is independent of path, means path or way. So what way the system has followed to reach the initial state to the final state, that manner or that path is independent, and therefore it is called as a state function, because it depends only on the initial state and final state of the system and not the path followed. So examples of state function are pressure, temperature, volume and energy. Means these all functions, pressure, temperature, volume and energy, all these depends only on initial state and final state and not depends on the path followed. So they are called as a state function, and the example is the integration of I to f, that is initial state I small I to final state small f du. So integration of du, that is changing internal energy, that energy is equal to u2 minus u1. So u2 is the final state and u1 is the initial state. So this is independent of the path followed by the system. So this internal energy is called as a state function. So this is the diagram which shows the state function. So it is independent of path taken to establish a value. So if we consider on the y-axis there is one property called as pressure, and the x-axis there is one property called as a volume. So if we consider this 1 and 2, these are the two states. So by this way, that is B way, or by this way A. So system reached from 1 to 2, that is initial state to final state, is independent. It depends only on the initial state and final state, that is 1 and 2, and not the path followed. That is by path A, it has reached to the A to it has reached to from reached to 1 to 2, and or B from 1 to 2. So it is independent of that path, that is small, that is capital A and capital B. These two are the paths that are responsible for conversion of 1 to 2. Means you may consider the example that you have to go for the some place. So by which way are going to, by which way or by which path you are going to that place, it is independent. Only the thing dependent is that what is the initial state. So what is the initial place you have started and what was the final place you have reached. So by which way, by which shortcut you are reached there, that final destiny, it is independent. So that is called as a state function. So next is the path function. So name itself indicates that it is dependent on the path. So the property of thermodynamic system which depends on the manner in which state is reached or the path followed or the way. Means it depends on the manner in which state is reached or the path followed or the way, and depends on the path followed. Means the state function depends on the only on the initial state and final state, and path function depends on the path followed by the system. Example is the work done. So W is given by initial to final state and it is a path followed. So this work done depends on, so what is the work done in a particular time, that depends on the path followed. The work done is equal to initial to final state and it is path dependent, therefore here path is written dw, and also the heat, that is Q is equal to initial to final state path into dq. This is this work done and heat energy, these two are the path function, because they not only depends on initial and final state, but they depends on the path followed by the system. This both work done and the heat energy, that is Q. So this path function that is dependent on the path taken to establish the value. So same diagram we will consider, that is pressure versus volume. So here we will not consider the 1 and 2 position, that is 1 to 2 how this state is reached, but we consider the way by which the state is reached. Means by which way, that is A way or B way the state is reached, that is the path followed by the system. So this is the state function and the path function. So we have said here that the state function gives the definite value for the particular system. So why it gives definite value? Because it depends on the only on initial and final state. But by the in the path function we will not get the definite value, because there are different paths. So the by one path the value may be different and other path value may be different. So the path function will not give the definite value for the particular system, but the state function will give the definite value because it depends only on initial and final state. So if we consider we have to go from one Sinnar to Nasik. So if we consider the state function, so we will consider only the initial and final state, that is Sinnar and Nasik. But if we consider the path function, you may follow one route. They may be that may be up to 20 kilometer, and you may follow other route that may be up to 18 kilometer. So this is the difference. So therefore in the path function we will not get the different, we will not get the definite value. That is, in one we can get a large value, in other we can get a low value. Therefore the path function will not give the definite value for the particular state of the system, but the state function will give the definite value, because only we know that we have to go from Sinnar to Nasik, by which way we are not of interest. Therefore we can say that state function is a definite value and path function has not the definite value. So next point is the exact and inexact differential. So what is exact differential and inexact differential? So what is exact differential and inexact differential? So we will study in the tabular form or in the difference form, that is exact differential and inexact differential. So what is exact differential? So exact means the differential which gives the exact value. So exact or definite value, that is called as a exact differential, and inexact means which don't give the definite value, that function is called as a inexact differential. And these two differentials are dependent on the state function and path function. So what is exact differential? So the some functions which are independent of the path followed by the system, which is called as a exact differential. And which functions are independent of the path followed? That is the state function. And what is inexact differential? The some functions which are dependent on the path followed. So the functions which are dependent on the path followed by the system, that are called as a path function. So the function which are independent of path followed means they are dependent only on the initial and final state. So in earlier slide we have studied that the state functions are dependent only on initial and final state. Therefore, we can get the exact value for the particular state of the system. Therefore, that differential we can call as a exact differential. And in the path function, what happens? It depends on the way by the state is reached, way or the path by which the state is reached. So, we will not get the exact value or definite value. Therefore, it is called as a inexact differential. So, exact differential depends only on the initial and final state, and inexact differential does not depend only on initial and final state, but it also depends on the path followed. And what are the different examples? So what are the different examples of state function that will be the examples of exact differential? So enthalpy, internal energy, pressure, temperature and volume. These are the some examples of exact differential. And inexact differential, so we have earlier slide we have studied the different examples of inexact differential, that is work done and heat change. And so it is denoted by equation, that is integration from initial to final du, that is change in internal energy, is equal to U2 minus U1. So U2 is the final state and U1 is the initial state. Therefore, integration from I to F, that is initial to final du, is equal to U2 minus U1. But in the inexact differential, it don't only depends on the initial and final state, but it depends on the path followed. Therefore, we can write Q is equal to integration of initial to final path followed into dq. So this heat change is dependent on the path followed. So this is the exact differential and this is the inexact differential. So exact differential is a state function and inexact differential is a path function. So next point is the internal energy. So what is internal energy? Internal energy is the every substance is associated with definite amount of energy. So that definite amount of energy which depends on its pressure, temperature and volume is called as a internal energy. And this is called as a internal energy. The internal energy is a state function and has a definite value. We have studied in the state function that u depends only on du depends only on u2 minus u1, that is final state and initial state. Therefore, it is a state function and has a definite value. So it is denoted by symbol delta U is equal to UB minus UA. UB is the final state and UA is the initial state. Next is the enthalpy. So what is enthalpy? Suppose the change of system is brought about at constant pressure. So enthalpy is always defined at constant pressure. This you to remember that enthalpy is always denoted at constant pressure. So suppose the change of system is brought about at constant pressure, means if we are brought about the change of system at constant pressure, in that case what happens? There is change in volume from VA to VB at constant pressure. So in that case, change of volume from VA to VB at constant pressure. So work done is given by work done is equal to P into delta V. So delta V, that is change in volume from VA to VB. So therefore W is equal to P into VA minus VB. Therefore we can write W is equal to minus P into this VB minus VA. This VB we take the negative sign common. Therefore we can write this equation for work done as W is equal to minus P into VB minus VA. So according to first law of thermodynamics, so what is the equation of first law of thermodynamics? We have studied that delta U is equal to Q plus W. So delta U is the change in internal energy, Q is the heat energy and W is the work done. Therefore we can write this equation as delta U is equal to Q into the equation of work done we have studied in earlier slide, that is W is equal to minus P into VB minus VA. Therefore we can write delta U that is change in internal energy. So we can write this change in internal energy as UB minus UA. Therefore UB minus UA is equal to Q minus P into VB minus VA. Therefore, UB minus UA is equal to Q minus multiplying this P into VB minus VA, that is minus PVB, and this minus minus gets plus PVA. Therefore, we can write this equation as UB minus UA is equal to UB minus UA, this minus PVB gets plus PVB and this plus PVA gets minus PVA is equal to Q. Therefore, we can write this equation as by combining the terms of B and B, that is UB plus PVB in one bracket and UA plus PVA in other bracket. Therefore, UB plus PVB minus sign is taken common in bracket UA plus PVA is equal to Q. This is called as equation 1. And the quantity this U plus PV is called as enthalpy. So this quantity U plus PV is called as enthalpy and it is denoted by symbol H, capital H, that is enthalpy. Therefore we can write H is equal to U plus PV and this UB plus PVB, that is the enthalpy change for the final state, and UA plus PVA, this is the enthalpy change for the initial state. And from the equation 1, what we can write? HB minus HA. This is the U plus PV is the H. So this is U plus PV for the B state, that is final state, that is we can write HB and minus this UA plus PVA, that is for the initial state, that is HA. Therefore, we can write HB minus HA is equal to Q, and therefore we can write delta H, HB minus HA, that is delta H. Delta H is equal to Q, and delta H is equal to, what is the Q? From the first law of thermodynamics, Q is equal to delta U plus P delta V, and this is called as the equation second. So, this was the equation for the enthalpy change, that is delta H is equal to delta U, that is change in internal energy at constant pressure into change in volume. So, next point is the temperature dependence of enthalpy and internal energy. So, enthalpy of substance increases as its temperature increases depending upon the conditions such as constant pressure and constant volume. Means enthalpy, that is H of a substance, increases as temperature increases, but it depends on the condition that we have studied, that enthalpy is always defined at constant pressure. Therefore, enthalpy increases as temperature increases, but only when at constant pressure and at constant volume. And the most important condition is the constant pressure, that is the slope of the graph of enthalpy against the temperature. Means if we plot the graph, that is enthalpy against the temperature at constant pressure is called as a heat capacity at constant pressure. You may have studied the Cp. So Cp is the, what is this Cp? Cp is the heat capacity, and this P at constant pressure. So it is denoted by Cp. So if we plot the enthalpy or internal energy, so the temperature dependence of enthalpy or internal energy. So enthalpy or internal energy against the temperature. So the slope of this graph indicates that at constant pressure, that is heat capacity at constant pressure, Cp is equal to dH. dH means this change in enthalpy. At y-axis there is dH, and the x-axis what is temperature. Therefore, dH upon dt. But what are these conditions? These are conditions at constant pressure. Therefore, Cp is equal to dH upon dt at constant pressure. And this is the heat capacity at constant pressure, that is Cp. Second is the slope of the graph, that is internal energy at enthalpy change at constant volume. So in this we will study at constant pressure, and at the in this we will study the at constant volume. So Cv, so heat capacity change at constant volume, is denoted by dH, that is change in enthalpy at y-axis, divided by change in temperature, that is dt. But what are the conditions? But at constant volume, and this is called as a heat capacity at constant volume. Means Cp is the heat capacity at constant pressure, and Cv is the heat capacity at constant volume. And Cp and Cv, what is the Cp and Cv? This is the ratio of change in enthalpy against the change in temperature. Means the ratio of change in enthalpy upon change in temperature at constant pressure is called as a Cp, and constant volume is called as a Cv. So heat capacity at constant volume and heat capacity at constant pressure is analogous to heat, and it is a extensive properties. So we have studied what is intensive property. Means intensive means independent of mass, and extensive means dependent on the mass or size. So the molar heat capacity at constant pressure. So we know that heat capacity at constant pressure is denoted by symbol Cp. So molar heat capacity at constant pressure is denoted by Cpm. And what is this Cpm? That is molar heat capacity. It is the heat capacity per mole of material. Means heat capacity per mole of material is called as a molar heat capacity, and it is a intensive properties. So this molar heat capacity is a intensive property. And for infinitesimal change in temperature, so what happens for infinitesimal change, that is small change? dH is equal to Cp upon dt. So we have stated that Cp is equal to dH upon dt. So if we rearrange this equation as dH is equal to Cp into dt. But this Cp is denoted always at constant pressure. And if the heat capacity is constant over the range of temperature of interest, then for the measurable increase of temperature, what we can write? For the measurable, dH is a small change, and for measurable change, we can replace this d by delta. Therefore, we can write delta H is equal to Cp into delta T. Means d is replaced by delta at constant pressure. And increase in enthalpy can be equated with, this increase in enthalpy delta H can be equated with heat supplied at constant pressure, that is Q. This increase in enthalpy delta H can be equated with heat supplied, that is Q at constant pressure. Therefore, we can write Qp is equal to delta H can be equated with Qp. Therefore, we can write Qp is equal to Cp into delta T. And the variation of heat capacity with temperature is sometimes ignored if the temperature range is small. Means the variation of this heat capacity Cp with temperature, this temperature is sometimes ignored if the temperature range is small. Thank you. In the next lecture, we will study the reversible, irreversible and adiabatic expansion. Thank you.